on top of that, it's generally not how they think.
Right.
You know? I mean, look at Floyd. Like, Floyd spends money like it's a tap. Like, he's got a tap. Just like unlimited amount of money. Money's just flowing. And even as much money as he's made in his career, which he's probably made as much, if not more money than any boxer ever. Like, there's all these lawsuits. Like, he hasn't been paying things, and he owes money on this and owes money on that. And it's like, and then he's got to come out of retirement.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. All the money, you got to show that he got $1 million in his backpack. And, you know, he got the latest watch and the latest car, and look what I just bought.
And when you get into latest watches and latest cars, you get into that shit. Like, boy, that money goes quick.
Yeah.
Bugattis are like $3 million. There's watches that are $3-5 million. That's crazy. So you buy a watch and a car, you're down 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
Crazy.
I remember Iran Barkley was talking about that. Iran Barkley, when he was in his prime, was hanging out with all these professional athletes, and everybody was getting diamond-crusted chains and this and that, and he was keeping up with these people. Like, you got to keep up with the Joneses. And he just found himself, like, draining all of his money. He was talking about it like that was the biggest detriment to him being able to...
Joe Rogan explains that Floyd Mayweather Jr. earned enormous wealth throughout his career but spent carelessly, openly showcasing luxury cars, expensive watches, and lavish collections. He suggests that Mayweather overlooked financial responsibilities like taxes, believing the money would never run out, which ultimately led to the loss of nearly $1 billion.
It's just the lifestyle that Floyd lived.
Yes.
I think he can't fathom to just live a modest lifestyle. It's like he gotta be lavish.
Right. He's got to have those videos where he shows you all the watches, where he opens the case up, you know. He was talking about it like that was the biggest detriment to him being able to save any money.
Mm-hmm. They trying to keep up.
Yeah. Which I thought was funny when I was listening to this conversation with Chad Ochocinco. He was talking about it. He was like,
his jewelry fake.
Yeah, he was wearing fake jewelry.
But who would know?
What's that?
Who would know?
No
Chad
one know.
Ochocinco.
Exactly.
It's
fake
like when
jewelry,
they look at him, like
flying economy. He was sleeping at the stadium, like, so he didn't have to pay for an apartment. So smart.
Yeah.
So clever, you know. But that's a guy like.
Joe Rogan said Floyd Mayweather Jr. built his image around displaying wealth, flashing luxury watches, and creating envy. But now people are seeing the clear consequences of that lifestyle.
Fight because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit, and he's like, look at my $1 million watch, look at my jet, look at my house, look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like, he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed, like, this is $1 million worth of watches. This watch goes for $2 million. And they're like, this is my small watch that I take sometimes, but I want to show you, when I show up, I bring out the big boy, and it brings out this watch that's covered in diamonds. It's like fucking $5 million. And so you hate him. People hate him.
He creates envy.
Yes.
Nicholas Irving claims that Floyd Mayweather Jr. spends close to $1 million a day, constantly traveling, frequenting casinos, gambling heavily, and living a non-stop life of luxury and excess.
You got gambling and all, of course, the gambling, you know, casinos and all that. He lives a very interesting lifestyle, very fast paced. I think the average person will have a hard time keeping up, but it's the amount of it. You got the private jets, you got the cars. But no, he could easily spend a few $500,000, $1 million+ in a day. I agree with you 100%. I mean, $400 million in a fight, and you put into like a high escrow or something like that, yeah, you keep pulling in really good interest. But I don't know. I know the dude can spend a lot of money like it's nothing. Like $1 million, $2 million, $5 million for Floyd in a day or a week is like nothing.
Yeah, that's insanity. I mean, it would not surprise me if all of this is hyperbole. You know, I've always looked at Floyd as a very, very smart person, not just in the ring, but outside of the ring.
Yeah.
And I say this because much of what we see, it's the show. He understood. He was in show business.
Yep.
DJ Vlad said a well-known jeweler told him that Floyd Mayweather Jr. may be facing financial difficulties due to years of heavy spending on jewelry, watches, cars, and other luxury purchases.
I don't see Mayweather even doing any goofy shit.
But you would think that your investments would continue to grow,
right?
As long as you keep your spending under wraps. Like right now, like I could retire right now. This could be my last interview ever,
right?
And with my investments, I invested into a lot of great companies like Google and Amazon and Tesla over the years, and those companies have all grown and continue to grow, right? And I could actually borrow money against my stock portfolio without even selling my stocks.
Right.
So I assumed that Mayweather was in a similar spot because you made so much cash, and if you invested even in common stocks, you should do pretty well. But I mean, listen, Mayweather never flies commercial. He's only flying private.
So he doesn't own his own plane?
I don't think so. I've never seen a Mayweather plane, like a Drake plane. I've never seen that. Not to say that he doesn't. I don't know Mayweather like that.
Chael Sonnen explains that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is, at his core, a fighter, and many athletes lose significant wealth after retirement as fame fades over time. He notes that once a boxer's prime years pass, public attention gradually declines, which can impact earning power and long-term financial stability.
Money! What's wrong with that? And why are we attempting to tease Floyd? Is Floyd Mayweather? Yes, he's broke. Of course he's broke. He's a boxer. That they say can't read. That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read, and he never denied it. What boxer do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question. But it's the fact that they're attempting to tease him. I mean, first off, they're asking the question. Look, I've told you until I'm blue in the face. The numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. Literally nobody. It's the same thing with boxing pay-per-view. Whatever boxing pay-per-view is the biggest boxing pay-per-view of all time is just whoever put out the press release and lied more than the person before them. These have never been confirmed by leadership of a publicly traded company. Who is the one that supplies the pay-per-view? It is
WAC 100 claims that Floyd Mayweather Jr. has faced financial struggles for nearly 2 decades, adding that for someone of his earning level, even having $20 million could be considered broke by his standards.
Floyd, I've talked to Floyd, I've asked him questions about this. And rule number 1 is, if Floyd ain't talking about it and Floyd ain't promoting it, then it's just talk.
They're accusing him of going broke because he's looking for these fights.
They've been accusing Floyd of going broke for 20 years. Now, let's talk about going broke. Maybe down to 200 million. Maybe that's his broke. I don't know.
Maybe that's his broke.
What I do know is his homes is still there, because when he tell me to come see him, it's the same addresses. Every time he called me, it's stars on the roof. Right? So I don't know, unless somebody is hacked into this man's finances. They always accuse the man of going broke. So maybe he...
Nicholas Irving explained that the money issues connected to Floyd Mayweather Jr. are largely tied to the extremely lavish way he chose to live over the years. Irving noted that Mayweather regularly spent huge sums on luxury outings, constant travel, and high-end experiences, not only for himself but also for the people around him. He recalled situations where Mayweather would bring his entire entourage along for expensive shopping trips, cover the cost of private jet flights, and even rent out a full cinema just for a personal viewing. These kinds of habits led to everyday spending that could quickly climb into the hundreds of thousands, and in some situations, even past the $1 million mark.
Is any legitimacy to that? Like, how on God's green earth could this man be broke?
His lifestyle. I've been around like hanging out for days, weeks. It's the lifestyle. Like when you got a 40-man entourage, you got other people, and you take everybody out, pay for everything, shopping, the mall, going out to eat, renting out an entire movie theater. Yeah, just to go watch a movie at whatever time he wanted. It was like the theater was closed when we rolled up to the movie theater, and you know, you got the girls and all. Yeah, and you rent out a whole movie theater for 40, 50 plus people. I bet that bill can rack up.
Nicholas Irving stressed that the real concern wasn't just excessive spending, but the absence of strong long-term financial planning to protect future stability. Rather than concentrating on creating reliable and lasting investment opportunities, Floyd Mayweather Jr. focused much of his time on enjoying his passions, which slowly created significant strain on his overall fortune. As the years passed, this mix of ongoing luxury expenses and limited strategic investing led to an increasingly unstable financial position. Irving's perspective highlights a way of living that, while flashy and captivating, could not be maintained over time. It also acts as a clear reminder that even top-earning athletes can run into money problems if discipline and smart financial decisions are overlooked in favor of instant pleasure and excess. Mayweather's journey shows how personal habits, even at the highest level of success, can shape long-term financial security and stability.
And I say this because much of what we see, it's the show. He understood. He was in show business.
Yep.
When he was Pretty Boy Floyd, he was a boxer that was doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
He was winning fights.
Mm-hmm.
But when he became Money Mayweather and changed that persona and put that marketing machine behind the I live this lavish lifestyle, that's when you started seeing him make these big money fights.
Yeah.
That's when it all changed for him.
Yep.
And that's not by accident. It's not by chance. This guy's not dumb. He's not a stupid guy whatsoever.
No. And I don't think, that's what I'm saying, I don't think he's broke. I think it's a lot of, to get eyes on.
WAC 100 gave his perspective on Floyd Mayweather Jr. and the ongoing discussions about his finances, saying that as long as Mayweather can still enter the ring and pull in massive paydays from a single bout, there's no reason to question that choice. WAC 100 pointed out that plenty of athletes make comebacks once they recognize their name still carries strong demand, and he sees boxing as one of the rare sports where a legend can participate in exhibitions, draw worldwide interest, and bring in enormous earnings. From his standpoint, if an opportunity to generate millions is available, stepping back into competition is simply a smart and logical move.
$200-300 million, man, to get in the ring with, we got $150 million to get in the ring with Mike Tyson on some exhibition shit. And then 6 months later, we got $300 million for you to get in the ring with Manny Pacquiao. He look it up, he like, that's $450 million. Sometimes you miss the light. But I can guarantee you, he ain't broke. He's making a lot of sound investments. You hear me, Cam Capone?
Yep.
This I know for a fact. He's making a lot of sound investments. And the investments I've seen being made ain't the investments of someone.
DJ Vlad addressed reports about Floyd Mayweather Jr. and his finances, noting that a prominent jeweler once told him Mayweather's challenges could stem from years of extreme luxury spending. Vlad suggested that massive purchases of high-end jewelry, watches, cars, and other lavish expenses likely depleted a large portion of his wealth. He added that stronger long-term investments could have preserved and expanded that fortune. Vlad also pointed out that if Mayweather Promotions had continued to grow with top fighters like Gervonta Davis staying on board, the company might now be one of the dominant promotional forces in boxing.
Guy told me that Mayweather is in financial problems.
See, here's the part about actually losing your money when you're on that level and you're, kind of like flossing and showing off. Nobody gives a shit. Like there are people actually praying for you to be broke. And then when you do go broke, that's what people are going to say. Yeah. Oh, well, you should have invested better. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to give him any loans. So now, we might see Mayweather doing.
People will give him some loans.
Maybe.
Listen, he's cozying up to Israel. That's
but
not
the
an
thing
accident.
about it is, he had Mayweather Promotions.
Yeah.
And he was hosting a big, he had Gervonta Davis under his cars. And so that's
but look what happened to Gervonta.
Right.
Arrested.
So if you can sustain that, you don't ever have to box again. But now has to take fights because, when you floss like Mayweather, you can't go down.
Yeah.
You got to stay right there because people are going to beat any kind of chinks in your armor if you're not wearing 3 or 4 big $1 million diamond.
Boxing commentators have weighed in on the upcoming exhibition featuring Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson, emphasizing that the matchup seems motivated more by financial gain than true athletic competition. Many analysts note that Tyson, well beyond his prime, is unlikely to reach the exceptional performance levels that once made him a boxing powerhouse. Likewise, critics argue that if Mayweather genuinely wanted a real test against Tyson, the ideal moment would have been years ago, when both fighters were at the peak of their careers and physical condition. The current timing, instead, indicates the fight is structured to leverage the fame, legacy, and star appeal of both icons, aiming to attract massive attention and generate significant revenue.
Who looks at it now and says he's 50-0? A generation, the first generation of boxing fans who don't box. Tattoos all over. You will shoot somebody down for $1, right? You will play around and beat up a bum who's drunk out of his mind so you can put it on YouTube, right? But you won't put on the gloves. You won't go to a local gym and put on the gloves. And you have killed boxing. You have killed something that saved me from a life of being a victim. Okay? You have done it. And you have destroyed boxing in such a way, Floyd Mayweather fans and Floyd Mayweather. You have destroyed boxing in such...
Although Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson remain two of boxing's most legendary figures, experts warn that the bout itself may deliver little in terms of technical skill, tactical depth, or genuine competition. While fans may be thrilled to witness these icons in the ring, the focus is expected to be on spectacle and showmanship rather than true mastery of the sport. Analysts suggest the event will mainly attract audiences seeking entertainment, nostalgia, and hype, underscoring the financial incentives driving the promotion. Ultimately, the fight comes across as a commercial extravaganza, placing money, publicity, and legacy above competitive legitimacy and athletic achievement.
Mayweather would have lasted all of maybe a minute against a prime Mike Tyson. Okay? Against a prime Mike Tyson. But what Mike Tyson are we looking at today? We're looking at a very old man who has abused his body, who has bad knees, right? Who is a lot slower, okay? And after 2 rounds, he's done. He's an old man. Now, when you have a style like Mike Tyson, where everything you do, you being great, depends on speed because you're short. You understand? See, Mike Tyson could never do what George...
At the same time, some analysts encourage fans to move past the idea that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is returning purely for financial gain, noting that for many fighters, boxing is far more than a business. It represents a lifelong passion and a core part of their identity. For athletes like Mayweather, the excitement of entering the ring, the surge of adrenaline, and the unique energy of a live fight can be as compelling as any paycheck. These experts propose that his comeback could be fueled by a genuine love for the sport and the unmatched experience it offers, rather than solely by the pursuit of money.
Mayweather, one of the few names in boxing that still somehow matters because there are very few of them, comes out of retirement at 49 years old. We're assuming, right? Everyone's assuming he needs money, right? Nobody goes back into the game of possibly being hit and embarrassed in front of people simply because they love boxing a great deal at the age of 49.
He's probably incredibly confused why someone keeps selling his mortgages. He probably has a dozen homes. And 3 dozen different people holding his mortgages lately. That's why he's fighting.
It's the price of blow pops that has brought him back into
I'm sure all of it.
Fighting.
And he doesn't look, from where I was sitting over the last 20 years, didn't seem like he was like super fiscally responsible. This is the least surprising thing ever.
Well, you say it's the least surprising.
Experts argue that Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s return to the ring shouldn't be seen as purely money-driven, emphasizing that boxing is much more than a career for legendary fighters. It's a passion, a way of life, and a key part of their identity that persists even after retirement. Stepping back into competition lets athletes reconnect with the unique excitement, focus, and satisfaction that only the ring can provide. For Mayweather, facing a high-profile opponent like Mike Tyson offers a chance to experience again the intensity and thrill of performing at the top level, something money alone cannot replicate. While exhibition paydays are significant, analysts note that the emotional rewards, the personal challenge, and the chance to engage with fans and the boxing world can be just as motivating. Fans are encouraged to recognize the passion and fulfillment that may be driving this comeback.
You say it's the least surprising thing ever, but can you, Jeremy, just look up for me, okay, the amount of earnings that we're talking about here? Because while, athletic money being blown is a bit of a cliche, there are very few athletes ever who have made the kind of money that Floyd Mayweather has made. And because he's the best in the history of pay-per-view at making sure that the money ends up in his pocket. He is, or has been, a businessman as an athlete that almost doesn't have a peer because he owns all his own stuff as an independent. Your spending has to be so fiscally irresponsible to lose the amount of money that Floyd Mayweather has lost that it is almost beyond anything that is reason. It's not merely fiscal insanity. It's something that doesn't make any sense.
That wraps up today's video. Make sure to stay tuned for what's coming next.